Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Generator Founder Series Spotlight. My name is Troy Vossler, and I am the co-founder of Generator. Today, I am joined by Rick Whittaker, co-founder and CEO of AirShare. Welcome, Rick.
Hey, thanks, Troy. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's get things started. Please start by introducing yourself and your company. I'd love to hear anything about your background, what led you to AirShare, and then what is AirShare?
Sure. So, as you mentioned, my name's Rick Whittaker. I'm the co-founder and CEO of AirShare, which we make the world's friendliest missile to safely and cost-effectively mitigate wayward and malicious drones, which is kind of like a thing now, as we see with conflicts in the Middle East and conflicts in Europe. So, we make a 3D printed plastic missile with a non-lethal warhead to take out small, medium, and large-sized drones.
I love that. I always loved when you were in the program. I had forgotten about your tagline about the world's friendliest missile. And then what's the current status of AirShare? And feel free to define that anyway, whether that's traction, revenue, customers, fundraising, product development. What's the current status of AirShare?
Well, sure. So thanks for asking. The As you can kind of tell, I'm in the car right now. We're just rushing from one appointment to get a delivery out the door for Ukraine. So we are in production right now with our fifth generation system. We've recently introduced a new countermeasure warhead system that can be dropped from a friendly drone onto enemy drones. And we're selling it to allied forces around the world. So we're in sales, we're in production, we're on our fifth generation. We've white labeled a sixth generation of a supersonic 3D printed guided missile, and we're in development on our seventh. So lots of action going on.
And then where are you located? Where's the company located?
So company has three locations right now. R&D started in Canada, and still test range and R&D for the large part gets done in Canada. A lot of our later stage development and commercialization work happens out of Boston, and that was something that came in right on the heels. Actually, right while we were doing the generator program, we established our presence there, and have been growing that ever since with the U.S. Air Force primarily, and recently the U.S. Army, and now. As of last month, we opened a joint venture called Air Shields in Saudi Arabia.
Awesome. When you think about kind of your career as a founder, in particular with AirShare, what do you think, or what was the biggest challenge that you faced as a founder? And then how did you overcome it?
Uh, Deciding what to focus on, I think, was the hardest thing, especially with my personality type. I like to invent stuff, and so inventing in isolation usually doesn't get you very far. So deciding what to focus on can't be done in a bubble, right? It has to be done with the customer, and kind of figuring that out. I think it's you that were coaching me in that exact point. I think figuring that out was really the biggest challenge. Building a missile actually isn't as hard as figuring out who's going to buy it and how you're going to actually sell it.
Yeah. What's one thing you wish you learned sooner as a founder?
I think that's a good question too. I think delegation when you're like a small group of less than 10 people is kind of hard to do. But if you practice that, even when you're just a few of you, I think is a very, very important skill to have. And if you're going to scale it all, that's something I wish I would have started sooner. I think delegation. I've heard many other founders say very similar things. It's a tough thing to do. We hear lots of people talk about it. It sounds good in theory, but to actually do it well is kind of hard. And I wish I would have figured that out
Yeah.
a little and had that skill a little bit sooner than I did.
Yeah. And then when did you and AirShare go through Generator?
We did that in 2018, 2019
Yeah.
was the program with Generator. So it was a few years ago, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, in Milwaukee. And then tell us more about your Generator experience and how did the accelerator help you the most?
Well, I think the accelerator actually put us on the map, to be quite frank. We had what we thought was a pretty cool technology. We had some inroads with a few what we thought lead customers, That'll get you a small contract here and there. But to actually build a company and build a company that can scale, you know, you may recall the slide deck that I used to pitch with. It was horrible. And I was actually someone that used to be on the investing side and coach others to say, oh, your slides need to be this or that, or you simplify your messaging. But practicing it yourself again is a whole different story. So I think that actual experience of having someone coach you through the whole process from, starting a company to pitching investors to honing your message, I think that actually put us on the map.
I like it. Well, I appreciate the warm words on the pitch feedback. Um, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs and founders that are considering an accelerator?
I wouldn't hesitate. I really wouldn't hesitate. Value for money. I think it's a must do. And this is coming from someone, again, I used to be a venture capitalist. Okay. I used to be an investor. I used to manage a $2.9 billion investment fund on the behalf of the government in Canada. So I thought, okay, well, being a founder, I've seen a million of these. No, 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 no. Until you actually do it and wear those shoes, you really don't. And it doesn't matter how much you sit on the other side, you really don't feel it until you go through. And so that's something I would encourage anyone considering this, whether you've had deep experience or not. If you've never built a company before, and this is the first time founder, I would say you can't do without an accelerator. It's absolutely essential. So relevant experience, yes, it's important. But if you've never gone through an accelerator, you absolutely must do one.
I love that. Even, as you said, coming from your side, having had VC experience, but being a first-time founder is really valuable. I appreciate that nuance. Rick, tell me about your favorite part of the generator program, or perhaps the favorite connection that you made.
Oh God, just to name one, really. No, I think the weekly coaching that we got, we had so many connections. I mean, we really did. We had the mentor swarms that we would do the one-on-ones and with the mentors. I thought that was really good because you get a wide variety of perspectives very, very quickly. I thought that worked extremely well. And really that, I can't pick one. I have to pick a couple. I think the coaching, to me, the coaching was everything. Because like I say, coming from a perspective where you think you've got this, but you really don't, is having a coach to kind of walk you through is extremely valuable. And the way it's done, holding your feet to the fire on deliverables, being able to hone your messages, practice and practice and practice. I think those things are, to me, was my biggest walkaway at those.
Nice.
Lots of other connections in industry, lots of other connections elsewhere. We were able to get our U.S. incorporation established, a whole bunch of things that also happened, which I would call were highlights. But I think the coaching by far and wide was my most memorable walkaway, anyways.
Nice. All right, and then Rick, my last question, I ask this to every entrepreneur that I interview. If you had one ask for this audience, people watching this interview, maybe it's an introduction, a mentor, advice, an investor, a customer, what would your ask be?
Oh, haven't given that one much thought. Well, I'll tell you what comes to mind though. One thing I've learned in this whole journey is that maybe it's karma, you put it out there. My ask is that if you are another entrepreneur, help the guy or gal next to you. If there's another founder that's he's struggling and you can help them. This will all eventually come back to you, and I've seen it happen. So you help somebody else, they help somebody else, and eventually somebody, it comes around and they help you. So I don't have a specific ask to say, hey, does someone know someone in procurement in the U.S. Army or those kind of things? I think it's just a little bit more macro than that. Help the person beside you, because you just don't know, where that's going to come back and actually benefit you. And these relationships amongst founders, many of them are lifelong. So invest in the long term and just see if you can help the person beside you if they need it.
I love that.
That would be my ask.
I think it's great advice. Help each other. I love it. Well, Rick, congratulations on all the success. The manufacturer of the world's friendliest missile, Rick Whittaker, co-founder and CEO of AirShare. Thank you for your time and congratulations. Thanks, Rick.
And thanks so much, Troy.